channel. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Larissa and this is my Magical Moon Sailor Moon inspired series. So on this episode we are going to make our own custom Sailor Moon inspired headphones. So it's a step-by-step tutorial on how to make your own. There is other options of headphones you can work with. I just happen to like this brand because it covers my entire ear and it's really comfortable to wear while I edit and work with stuff, so I happen to really like these. But you can choose, ideally if you were going to do Sailor Moon's Brooch, these headphones would be a little more, you know, accurate to the shape of the brooch, but I just worked with what I had and I think they turned out really cute. You can use this idea to make other brooches, either other Sailor Scouts or other Magical Girl series. This is just an idea. I had these headphones and I'm like, this is the perfect color, pink, to be Sailor Moon's brooch, and, well, the first one. And yeah, so I just decided to go with it, and here's the tutorial. Let's begin. So first you will need some alcohol. I happen to have 91%, but 70% will work. Some cotton balls, some headphones of your choice. I use some washi tape to tie up my wire of my headphones so they're not in the way while I'm working on them. You will also need some puppy paint. This is some gold puppy paint I got from the craft store, as well as some gold acrylic paint, some glitter, some rhinestones. I have these Aurora Borealis crystals, as well as rhinestones for each of the 4 Sailor Scouts with a moon rhinestone, E6000 glue, some paper scissors, some tweezers, a pencil, a circular object of your choice. I'm just using this lid from a spray can to use as the outline of my brooch design, some paper, and you will also need a paintbrush. I forgot to do that the first time I did the jazz hand thing. So first you will need to clean your headphones. We don't know if they've been exposed to anything gross, and we want to make sure that these are clean as possible, so the paint and the rhinestones and the glue have a good chance of sticking the first time we put this on. So I'm just going to use a cotton ball to clean the surface of the headphones. So as my headphones are drying, I'm going to make my pattern for my brooch. I'm using the lid of a spray can bottle to make my circular shape. I did not have like a stencil ruler for this, so I just used what I had, but that's okay. So yeah, I'm just using the paper to make that stencil, and as you can see, I am using the anniversary toy brooch thing in the top of the screen up here to use it as a reference as I am making the design for the brooch. I'm going to try to make it as close as possible to this, and cut out your circular shape. We're going to use this as a transfer stencil to outline onto the headphones. So taking my paper stencil, I am lining it up against the center of my headphone. And this is a little tough because my headphones are a domed shape and this is a piece of paper, so flat against curved doesn't always work, but just took my time wiggling around the circle, around the edges here, so they line up against the headphones so I can properly do that pencil curve as my outline. So after you have made the circular outline with your pencil on both center sides of your headphones, I am going to do another circle echoing on the inside parallel to the first circle we did to create the, I guess you would say, gold lip on the outside of the brooch, as you can see from the sample I'm using above. So I know where to go with my puppy paint after I have done my stencil. So after you have completed the echoed parallel circle to both sides of your headphones. I am drawing a star for the outline of my puffy paint as well, and I'm going to make mine a little more puffier because I like more of the puffier stars versus the perfectly straight sharp stars. And yeah, so I'm just going to do that. Now I am going to use these crescent moon shaped rhinestones that I just happen to have, and they are red, so I'm going to paint them with the gold acrylic paint that I had showed you in the beginning of the video. If you aren't able to get a hold of crescent moon shapes like this, you can use the puffy paint to create the design as well. This is something I just happen to have, so I like the 3D looks, so I'm going to go ahead and use these instead. While these crescent moons are drying with the gold acrylic paint on them, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that it's still wet and use it as a tacky-like substance to use my gold glitter to stick to while it's drying. If you feel like this is not going to hold as well, you're more than welcome to use Elmer's glue or tacky glue and do a thin coat of that and then put the glitter on top of it so it has even more like option to stick to. So now I'm going to get started with attaching my rhinestones. I'm going to start with this gold puffy paint. I know it's kind of light right now, the gold is, but once it dries, the puffy paint gets a little more brilliant, I guess you could say. Not so cloudy and pastel-like it is here, but it's still wet. So I'm going to make a nice little dollop of that gold puffy paint. It's about the size of a dime, and use these really pretty now crescent moons to press in the middle of my star as the beginning face of the brooch. So I already pre-laid out 2 sets of Sailor Mars's color, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Jupiter, and Sailor Venus's color rhinestones, and then Sailor Moon's rhinestone color, which is the pink right over the crescent moon. So make sure you have 2 sets of each size rhinestones so that it's identical both sides. And I am again taking the opportunity right now, since the puffy paint is dry, to use it as my adhesive to put that little pink rhinestone in the middle of the crescent moon. I was hoping that if I did a great dollop of the puffy paint in the beginning and the middle, that it would dome over on both sides of the crescent moon to create that lip. But it didn't work out quite as nice as I would like, so I went back over it again, as you can tell. And now I'm just taking my time to use the really fine tip nozzle of the puffy paint to outline my star design. So as you can tell, I have dove into the puffy paint on just the one side right now, because if I flipped it over and did the same steps, crescent moon one side, crescent moon on the other, outline the star on one side, I was on the other, that the sticky glue would run and it would ruin the design. So I'm doing one side at a time. And now after I have done the star outline, I am going to do the same effect as I did before and do a nice little dollop of the puffy paint. So when I press the jewel in the middle, that it should dome over in theory. So I'm using my tweezers to do this because they are small rhinestones. I'm trying to think of a good reference. They're smaller than a pea. I'm not really sure. If you have an iPhone, it's kind of like the fisheye lens kind of look on your iPhone size. These are kind of small. This is just what I chose to do, but when you make your own, be creative, do whatever makes you happy. So this is just what I thought looked nice, and yeah. And one more time, I'm going back over on the edging of each rhinestone to make sure they have this nice little dome look to it. And the puffy paint nib is really small, but I did find myself wiping off the nib every once in a while when it got too chunky and clogged in the front, because I didn't want it to ruin my design. So the circle was kind of hard because it is a circle, this is a dome, and when you're looking down on it, it is kind of at an angle, but it's a dome shape. So I just took my time doing a little bit here and a little bit there. As you can see, I'm like edging out little bit by bit. So
since my headphones are this oval dome shape, just in the brooch to me seems kind of like it's floating there. And if you had the circle headphones, this probably look fine just the way it is. But I happen to really like sparkles as well, so I'm going to use my Aurora Borealis crystals to kind of make like a Millennium Crystal aura on the outside, if that makes any sense, of the brooch out of my 2 different sizes of rhinestones here. These are just some that I had left over from my wedding dress when I bedazzled my wedding dress in accessories. I'm not really sure what sizes these are because the packaging didn't have the size anymore on them. But I had fun just going back and forth deciding what sizes to, do and how far apart. But this is all up to you creative-wise, so have fun. So as you can see here, I'm using like a scrap piece of paper to use as my little like glue dish, for lack of a better word, because I'm just going to throw this away later. E6000 glue is really great glue if you've never purchased it before. It works on initially every form of material and medium, like wood and glass and clothes. This glue is pretty amazing just to have in your house for any like quick repairs. I'm not sure if any of you have worked with the E6000 smaller tubes, but if you get a chance to buy the 3-pack of that versus the big bottle, I highly suggest it, because over the years I have gotten so frustrated with those big bottles of E6000 glue because you have to squeeze it and then wrinkles get into the tube packaging and it cracks it and it bleeds everywhere if you're not careful. And I'm not really sure if there's like some trick to do differently, but I found out doing these little travel size little ones, you really get your bang for your buck. You're getting everything on the tube before the packaging gets ruined. So I also want to mention that when you are doing these rhinestones and using the glue, a little bit goes a long way, and I wouldn't say it like dries super fast, because it does take a full 24 hours in my opinion to really stay there forever or not move. But like I said before, I'm only using a little bit at a time because it is, I guess I should say it's drying, and like the top coat is drying of the mound of glue you put down. So try to do little portions at a time. So my design here, I decided to do small rhinestones as an echo, and then the bigger rhinestones as another outline echo, and that looked really pretty. And I was like, it needs one more thing. What can I put? And I was like, oh, that'd be really cool. So I took the puffy paint and I drew out freehand. You can draw this if you feel like you can't get it the first time by yourself, but I used the puffy paint to kind of create this little bow on the bottom because Sailor Moon has bows everywhere. It's just right. So I also wanted to mention, while the gold puffy paint was drying, I did go back in with the gold glitter and dust it over the top, just a light little dust just to give it extra little glitz, because go in the distance here with my sparklies. Also, so I wanted to mention that I'm doing all this work on just the one side, and I did wait a full 3-4 hours where almost everything was dry before I went to the other side. So my hand did get tired a lot while I was doing this, especially there was a lot of painting and looking and gluing and rhinestoning and oohing and ahhing. And if you have a foam head, I highly suggest putting it on the foam head before you even get started with this project. It's a lot easier to work with, and even better if you have a wig head clamp to the side of your desk. This would be even better. If you're a cosplayer and happen to have that, that'd be awesome. But yeah, so I'm just doing the same thing to the other side of the headphones now. So after doing the same thing to the other side of your headphones, please wait a full 24 hours before you decide to put these on your head. And after that, you are done.
Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed making your own custom Sailor Moon inspired headphones. I had fun making it with you, and I'll see you next time. Have a magical day. Bye!